Good morning, GRIZZ here. Hope everybody's doing well. I saw my doctor yesterday, and I'm actually doing pretty good. Uh, Sorry about not getting a video out yesterday. Just so much going on again with doctors and what have you. But we got one coming out today. I had a video on the 5th that was removed from YouTube because I broke their standard of service by quote unquote medical misinformation. I want people to understand you can't give medical misinformation. You can only give information. And I use their an approved site, which for the medical information, which is supposed to be CDC, even after their quote unquote review, they said it was wrong. Why was it wrong? I'll tell you what was wrong, because it was against their narrative. It showed that the vaccine isn't as safe as they're claiming it is. The only thing I'm going to say from this point forward for YouTube is do your research. Research everything. Don't believe anything you're told by the government, by YouTube, by anything on social media, and don't believe anything that zealots tell you. And what I mean by zealots is this tribalism crap that goes on both sides of the field. These people tell you, this is the way it is because I say so. No, it's not the way it is because you say so. This is the science. Well, what science is it? They can't provide you the science. Research it. If they can't provide you the science, can't show you the statistics, look it up. Don't believe them to believe them blindly. Don't believe the news media blindly. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's just foolish for anybody to do. Don't believe these people blindly. Don't believe me blindly. Please don't believe me blindly. But at least I had the good sense to pull it from the CDC website and show you what it said and how to work it from the CDC website. And apparently that's what's against their standards. I don't know. Showing you how to critically think, I think, is what is truly against YouTube standards. Critically thinking has become taboo. Critically thinking has become taboo. You can't critically think. You can't question anything. You can't question authority. Read the book 1984 and tell me what that means. That is a totalitarian approach. If you can't critically think for yourself concerning whatever they're telling you to put into your body, what they're telling you to be true, and you're like, that doesn't make sense. It probably doesn't make sense. It's probably not true. Or it's probably a half truth that they're twisting to make it look like the truth. I've noticed one thing in schools, my grandkids don't get taught civics. They don't get taught what you and I were taught. They don't get taught. They don't what I was taught. And I don't know if you're young, you may not have been taught this. They don't get taught the Bill of Rights. They don't get taught the Constitution. They don't get taught that because that's not where the federal government money comes from. Federal government money doesn't pay you for knowing history. It does not pay you to do that. It doesn't pay you for knowing civics. It pays you for that. For a second. If you're not teaching what's happened in the past, if you're not teaching these children what they know to be right, to be our rights, to be our Constitution, they don't know what they're giving up. This is your job. Your job to do. Your job to create that environment so that these children learn what their rights are. And if they know what their rights are, they've been taught what their rights are, and they choose to give them up, that's a different story. But if they're not even being taught what they are, and they're being taken away by force, that's wrong. All I'm saying is critically think, people. Critically think. And that's in anything in life, whether it has to do with the vaccine, whether it has to do with COVID, whether it has to do with weight loss, whether it has to do with getting healthy. Critically think. Can a pill take the weight off in 30 days? No, it can't. It's impossible. It doesn't work. Can it help start? Maybe. How are you going to know for a fact? Either you're going to take the pill and try it, or you're going to research it and critically think about it before you try it and decide if you think it might work for you. All I'm saying is think about these things. Don't respond to them. Don't go tribal. Don't on anything, because this could happen to anything. What's happening with the quote unquote medical misinformation and attack and the fact that they're taking away your freedom to speak out about what they're doing means they can do it about anything, if we continue to allow it. Don't get into the tribalism. Don't fall for this. Look at everything and go, why? Simple. It's simple. Pretend you're 3. Why? Why does this happen? Why do they say that? That doesn't make sense. So why do they want it? And when they present you with something that's called an op-ed, an opinion piece, we did look at where they're getting their source information from, which in today's online articles, it's usually highlighted in blue. Not always, but they're supposed to tell you where their sources come from. So look for their source articles. It's usually simple. It's usually a link within the article. Click on it. I always go 5 back, always. When somebody presents me with an op-ed for their facts, always go 5 back. I always look for 5 sources back. And you know what I found consistently? No facts. An op-ed on an op-ed on an op-ed on an op-ed on an op-ed. It's never there's never any real facts. It's just people's opinions. And hey, some of them are pretty darn convincing. But they're still not based on any real facts. They're just based on what they believe to be correct. Yes, I'm very open. I'm very strong in my beliefs. But I'm very open-minded too, because if you share something and say this is where it's at, I'm going to take the time to respect the fact that you did that and read. And I'm going to read it and I'm going to try to find your facts. If they're not there, I am going to come back and I'm going to quote something from the beginning, middle, and end to show that I read that article and tell you that this is just an opinion. There's nothing here to convince me that you're right. It's just somebody spouting off what they believe and why they believe it without backing it up with any facts. Facts don't care what you think. Facts don't care what you believe. Facts are very cold, hard truth. That's where cold, hard truth came from, by the way. Facts are cold, hard truth. These are truths that are there, whether one person acknowledges it or nobody acknowledges, or everybody acknowledges it. It's facts. So when you read, look for facts. Look for things that you can go, okay, that happened, or yeah, they wrote that out. Yeah, they passed this law, and this is exactly what the law reads. Now, is that law constitutional? Well, that's another question. But it's at least a fact that it was done, and that's what it says. There's always questions about that. And when it comes to whether something's right or wrong for us in this country, I always go back to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. If it violates any portion of that, the law is illegal. Constitution is clear on that. So that's how I think. That's how I do things. That's how I research things. You know, life is too short to get in too big of a quibble over everything. But when they're telling you that medical misinformation is a hazard, is a health hazard, but who decides what is medical misinformation? And when I get a video taken down, specifically citing medical misinformation, and it's pulled from a site that's supposed to be approved for me to quote from, I would say, people, that whoever is looking at the article and has the power at the time is the one who decides what is or is not medical information, misinformation. We concur. And that, my friends, is not how it works. I will tell you this. I think everything is medical misinformation to a point. We don't know enough about certain things, whether it's the COVID-19, whether it's the vaccine, or whether it's malaria. We know plenty about malaria. We can prevent it, but do we know everything about it? No, we don't. So some of it's got to be quote unquote medical misinformation. Is it really medical misinformation, or is it just science at work doing what it's supposed to do? And that's all this is, people. It's science at work doing what it's supposed to do. Science is an ever-changing fact that's in motion. Science is supposed to be based on the facts as we know them now. But those facts are to be questioned in case they're wrong. Science is there to double check itself, and it's not being allowed by the government. And you trust the government? Yes or no? Think about that. Have a great day. GRIZZ out.